Hello?
Hey, it's Brad.
Brad, what's going on?
Not much. Long time. I hadn't talked to you forever. I reached out to you to start this Too Much Architecture movie review series for a few reasons. Mostly because I have witnessed you sit through some downright awful films, many that may have some great feature architecture. But before we get started on our first film, I think we should introduce ourselves. Patrick?
Okay, I'm Patrick Riazzi, and I'm a lawyer in Sacramento. I met Brad in law school, became friends, and we were roommates for a short time, watched a lot of movies, played a lot of video games, heard his dog sigh repeatedly.
I forgot we had the
on a
video
nightly
games.
basis. Yeah.
I forgot. I remember sitting on that couch a lot, but I don't remember I probably lost a lot, but anyway.
a lot of James Bond.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That was fun. That was good times.
That was fun.
Hey, so
I watched a lot of movies.
we watched. You watched movies that I was shocked anyone would watch. To be honest, I was, which is surprising because I watch a lot of movies too. So I was happy to see some weird stuff on the big screen.
A lot of foreign movies, courtesy of Justin Lynch. So.
Yeah, but I thought that we should make sure and say that no matter what we say, even though we're both attorneys, nothing we say should be implied as legal advice or even worse, solicitation to provide legal services. We are not soliciting you for any client activities. What were you thinking when I called you up on this project?
I mean, architecture, for me, it's interesting because I think most people they watch a movie and architecture is not really part of the movie. It's just where something's set. So watching at least Gattaca, which will be the first one, watching it again, you get to focus on the architecture. You get to see that it's more prominent than just the setting. And talking about it, so for me, it's a good idea. It was fun.
Oh, cool.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, do you have any other backstory on Gattaca, movie-wise?
Movie-wise, no, but the building itself, I used to live in Santa Rosa, which is about, I think, 35 miles north of the Marin Civic Center. So I used to pass by that building hundreds of times when I was living there, going to San Francisco and different places.
No,
and it really does have that sort of futuristic type look. I mean, every time I looked up at it, I did expect a rocket to come out of the back, or see the Millennium Falcon come up and fly away. It really has that appearance. And I've made a couple court appearances in the building, in the Hall of Justice, and when you get in there, it's completely opposite of what it looks like.
I wanted to say in Gattaca, there's not just the Marin Civic Center of San Rafael, which for everyone was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright and constructed right after he died. But there's also the Classroom, Laboratory, and Administration Building, the CLA building, which is at Cal Poly Pomona, designed by Antoine Predock in 1992. And unfortunately, I think they're going to tear that building down. Anyway, and then there's another thing I thought was important that nobody talks about is the Parabolic Trough solar power plant. It's at Kramer Junction, California, built in 1987. It's a significant piece of architecture that nobody talks about, but should.
Yeah, it's also a very good scene in the movie, too. I saw the movie back in 97, and seeing it again, I think I like it more now than I did back then. I found it's really, really a good movie. I think it's very underrated. I don't think it performed very well at the box office, but it's a really, really good movie. I think it's a little bit ahead of its time as far as the subject matter is concerned.
Yeah, I don't think people believed that all this stuff could be real, and now it seems matter of fact. I think it's going to happen.
Dolly the sheep was cloned, I don't know, a year or two maybe before, and I think the Human Genome Project, the DNA wasn't even sequenced for probably, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years afterwards.
Yeah.
So this was really just sort of a theoretical, maybe not as much theoretical, but something that was probably a little bit in the far distant future. And where we are now, 16, 17 years later, 19 years later, 18 years later, it seems more like it's right around the corner. Very possible.
Yeah, another thing I was thinking about is in 1997, I was using Netscape Navigator, and everybody was using AOL to get on the internet. It's just like crazy to think about the years, how long ago that is. Getting old. One thing I was really surprised is the movie wasn't based on a book. It was written and directed completely originally. It was all original film. I thought that was kind of shocking.
Yeah, I also found it interesting that the movie takes place in the not-so-distant future, yet the vehicles in the movies are all from the 50s.
Yeah.
The clothing.
The Marin Civic Center was completed at the same time as the clothing, like you're talking.
everyone's wearing suits, but the detective, the Alan Arkin character specifically, had on the gray raincoat, trench coat, and the fedora hat. So it was very 1950s, and it also was very film noirish with, a race against time.
Every time I see Ethan Hawke with those freaking leg braces on, all I can think about is Justin getting a couple more inches so he can be better at basketball.
I don't know if a couple more inches will help basketball.
I think he put 4 inches on Ethan Hawke because he had to go from 5'8" to 6'2". I think that would help Justin a lot. He'd be doing better.
Speaking of Ethan Hawke, that guy hasn't aged at all.
I know.
And what happened to, Uma Thurman? That was kind of, those late 90s and early 2000s were kind of her happy zone. And I think Kill Bill, since Kill Bill, she really hasn't done much since then. It's almost like that movie killed her career more than anything else.
We got a Kill Bill 3 coming out. I'm looking on the interwebs.
She's got to be close to 50 now, right?
I don't know. Let me see.
45-ish, something like that?
No, she's born 1970, so what's that? 45.
45.
Yeah.
She's going to do a Kill Bill 3?
Yeah, she's going to do some more Kill Billin'.
Yeah.
Kill Billin'.
I don't know.
You're right. She did a Muppets Christmas in 2008. Oh, yeah, and she was in My Super Ex-Girlfriend, which was another architecture movie. Remember, he was an architect in that movie, and then she becomes an evil villain superhero in that movie.
It might be a long time before I get to that one. When did you see Gattaca recently again?
Yeah, I watched it the other day. I have it here. I think I bought it a while back because it was like a $5 movie at Best Buy, so I picked it up.
Oh.
Yeah, I watched it again. I was surprised how good the building looks. The Marin Civic Center, immaculate. It looks perfect for a space center, place like that. I mean, considering the Houston, have you ever been to the Space Center in Houston?
No.
Your typical office spaces that are pretty dank. This is just, I would love to be an astronaut in training at the Civic Center. But yeah.
Yeah, it's a tremendous building, and you're right. It really is one of the stars of the movie, especially all the scenes outdoors where it has a real yellowish tone to the color, whereas indoors everything is sort of a bright, regular color. Everything outside is kind of a yellowish tone, which I think enhances it a little bit more. I think the building is really cool, and the movie's excellent. Oh,
one thing I thought that was funny is that I wonder if everybody, when I watched the film, I watched it first in Texas. 97. I lived in Central Texas, and when they did the swimming competition, Chicken, I was like, oh, he's getting tired. The waves are going to stop him. And then when I moved to California and actually got in the ocean for the first time, I realized that Chicken game has nothing to do with cardiovascular strength. I mean, and it has everything to do with hypothermia. I don't know how those guys, especially those boys, swam all the way into that ocean and back if it was actually the freaking Pacific Ocean.
It may have been the Pacific. It's probably in Southern California. Well, maybe.
It's still cold down there. I mean, it's not as cold as up here, but that water's cold. I don't think people outside in the outside world, outside California, realize how freaking cold the water is here. I don't think. That's my opinion. But
swimming was an important part of the movie that I also found that the scenes inside the building where the escalators are, where they go up, and you have the glass ceiling where they see the rockets go up.
Yeah.
And Ethan Hawke is constantly looking up through the ceiling, through the windows to see the rockets go up. And it's like that's his glass ceiling, being somebody who
exactly
didn't have his genes manipulated. That's the glass ceiling that he's going to reach, and he has to somehow get through, which is actually a beautiful piece of architecture to have the ceiling the way that it is. It's really nice. I mean, I haven't been to that part of.
Oh, you haven't?
I haven't.
Yeah,
I haven't been to that part of the building, but it's really beautiful to see it that way.
Okay, cool. So we've modeled our rating system on the Michelin Restaurant City Guides. We're a zero Riazi star is like basically don't waste your time watching the film or visiting the building. And then if you have a 1 Riazzi star, then if the film is on Netflix or you have an opportunity to watch it while you're lounging on your couch, make sure and do so. And if you happen to be in town, go check it out. It's worth a detour. The 2 Riazzi stars is you put this in the film queue to watch the movie as a definite near-term watch. And if you are already planning a trip, this is if it's a building, planning a trip to the building's region, make sure and visit it. And 3 Riazzi stars is you should actively plan when and how you're going to watch this film, and or you should actively plan on visiting the building with a special trip to the place. Okay, so first we're going to do the Riazzi movie. We're going to do the Riazzi star rating for the actual architecture. So, Patrick, you can go ahead and give a star rating on the architecture in the film, as portrayed in the film.
For the architecture, I would say a 2 for sure. If you're in the region specifically for the Marin County Civic Center, it's hard to miss. So if you're there, it's very easy to get to. And it's really hard to miss, and you can just park and walk around. So it's very easy to access it. I would definitely check that out. I think it's fantastic in the area, but it's an uncommonly good building from down below, and when you're up at the building itself. It's really a cool building. Really something I think if you're in the area, definitely take some time to go check it out.
I totally agree with you, and I think the one we're basically rating is the Civic Center, like you said, and I would give it a 2 as well. I think that if you're in the San Francisco Bay Area, just take that. I realize it's 30 minutes away, but it doesn't seem like it. It's a quick trip in a beautiful country, and then it's just a beautiful building as presented in the movie itself. So I agree. I think a 2-star rating is definitely warranted for the Civic Center. So next we're going to do the movie rating, the Riazzi movie stars for the actual movie itself. And since I'm not the movie critic, so for Gattaca, I give it. I don't give it a 0. I give it a 1. If you see it on Netflix, watch it, and if somebody's got it laying around, I would say it's worth watching. So I think 1 star is good. It's good enough for this movie. So that's the rating I get. I think it's worth watching. It's a good watch, but it's not something to go completely nuts over.
I would give the movie 2. I think the movie's really well done, and it's very relevant to what's happening now, more so than back then when it was released. So for me, it's a 2. I would definitely put it in your queue and watch it whenever you have the time. But I think it's a terrific movie, so I would give it a 2.
So yeah, you're saying with time it's gotten better. It's matured well.
Yeah, much better. Much better. Yeah, because I think the subject matter is now, a distinct possibility right around the corner.
Yeah.
And although the movie itself, I'm not really sure it doesn't really debate the issue and kind of raise it for discussion. But if you're focusing on it and paying attention to what's happening, then you can debate it in your own mind. And but for me, I think it's excellent.
Patrick, you got any closing remarks for our first attempt at this experience?
No, it was fun. I'm glad to do it. I'm looking forward to the other movies we'll be launching and talking about them. Yeah, this is exciting.
Sure, and I think next week we're gonna have The Fountainhead. It's not a classic film for movie buffs, but it's a must-watch movie for all architecture students and designers. So I know, Patrick, I'm sorry you have to sit through it, but I hope you like it.
Well, I've seen it before, so I'm looking forward to seeing it again. Hopefully the second impression will be better than the first.
If not, you just fast forward to it. I mean, it is long. It is rough. I watched it again this week, and I was like, geez. But